escapists, and today we are going out towards Lithgow. It is the long weekend, and I've got my best friend visiting me, which is super awesome. We're going to Lithgow to try and check out the glowworm tunnel and also the zigzag railway track and maybe a few others depending on what we get time to do. I've got a massive cold, so hopefully it won't spoil the weekend, especially as it's going to be raining and cold the entire time. But yeah, we'll see how we go. Okay, so we made it to Lithgow with only a small stop for breakfast in Katoomba, which was the best.
Super nice.
I had a smoked salmon croissant and
Croque Monsieur, oh my goodness.
Was pretty good. But anyway, we've got to Lithgow. It's still like, it's not pelting down, but it's still raining a little bit. Doesn't look like it's going to clear up, so we're trying to work out what we want to do, because we had some plans to do the glowworm caves, which is nice, which would be a little bit inside, but it's also 9 kilometres outside in the rain. And we wanted to go look at mushrooms in the Oberon Forest, but that is also outside in the rain. So we're trying to figure out what will be the best thing to do. We've got maps. We're at the Lithgow Visitor Centre at the moment, so got all of the information, and yeah, we'll try and figure it out from here. To head out to the glowworm caves in, what is the name of the place that we're in?
Garden of Stone National Park?
It's pretty cool. The drive-in was definitely an adventure. So, because the weather is really wet, it says when the weather's wet, approach from the south, because there's a creek at the north entrance that floods and then you might not be able to get in. So we were like, okay, we'll go from the south. And
it's really slippery, be careful on the drive.
It's definitely a New South Wales government road.
We'll see you in the tunnels.
So we're just walking along the track and we've just come across this amazing thing. So if I just tip up, you can see a rock's fallen off the cliff up above and it's just come down and it's just smashed all over the trees, which is super cool. So we're walking through this really, really narrow, gorgy bit. It's really, really steep on either side, and it's basically a creek. And this used to be a train line. We're on the old train track. So can you imagine getting a train through here? It's like, it's not really very wide. So we've made it to the glowworm tunnel. You can see it just behind us there. And we're going to go in. Don't know if we'll be able to get any pictures of glowworms or any movies of glowworms on this camera. It's not very good at sensing dark, and also we just may not be able to do it. We'll try.
We'll see what we can find.
We'll see what we can find. Okay, so we couldn't get any of the glowworms from the caves. It was just not enough light in there for the camera. Couldn't even get it on the phone. But oh my god,
it was
spectacular.
Unbelievable. It was
amazing.
So beautiful.
Definitely worth. I mean, you don't even have to do the 9k walk that we just did. You can just do like a 1k in and back.
Just straight out there, go walking in there. It changed my goddamn life.
Good. Like, you know how there's moments in your life, right, where you're in that moment and you're just like, this is morbid, but like, if I died tomorrow, would I be happy with what my life is like, or would I be happy with this moment? And you're just like, yes, this is amazing. It was seriously cool.
It was like walking through constellations that go all the way down to the wall. And then you get to a point and it's just like dead straight, and it's almost like it's just
it was like you were in the stars.
And oh my
God. There
God.
was a slight issue of other groups coming through, especially with small children just barging straight through with torches swinging every direction.
Chuck it in your face,
so you give
can't
yourself a bit of
see.
time so that you can like let your eyes adjust, and also so that you can let the groups pass and let your eyes adjust again, because yeah,
Worth it. Recommended. 10 out of 10.
Definitely worth it. And on that note, like I said at the start of this episode, I have a cold, and I am cold, and the sun is going down, so we're going to go to Lithgow and get ourselves a hot meal.
Warm food, warm tea.
We've got like a stove and everything like that, but we have to go through there anyway, so we may as well just go to a pub.
Pub time.
Pub time.
See ya.
And yeah, see you tomorrow. Hey guys, so it's the end of the day and we've just pulled into a campsite and got ourselves set up. It's called Lockyer's Track. So it's sort of near Hartley's. It's a little bit out of the beaten track, and we are actually the only ones here on a long weekend, which is super, super awesome. But it's pretty bloody cold, so we've just made a cup of tea and we're now sitting in our separate tents drinking our tea. And yeah, I had a look at the stars. The sky is completely cleared. It was miserable all day. It's cleared now. So many stars, but of course when you get a clear night after a cold day, it's going to be a bit of a cold night. So yeah, just going to drink our tea and have a really early night, even though it's like 7:30 or something like that. But yeah, time to go to bed. Good morning!
Hello.
It is the next day, and it was freezing this morning. It was so cold. Not below zero, so not actually that cold, but it felt pretty cold. So we were like, nope. Well, Rosie was like, I need coffee.
I need coffee.
So we started driving, and instead of stopping in Lithgow, which would have made sense, we just we were enjoying the drive, and all the mist was coming off all of the hills, and the sun was just coming out. It was really, really nice driving through. So we've ended up in Bathurst. We've just had a really, really huge breakfast, bacon and eggs, and like sausages and toast, and it's so good. And of course, coffee.
So much coffee.
Yeah. So we are now, because we're in Bathurst, which was not intentional, but you know, here we are. We're actually going to go check out the the Fossil and
Mineral Museum.
Yeah, Fossil and Mineral Museum. So that is open now. We've hung around long enough that it's opened, and we'll go check that out. We were going to check out the gin distillery, but that's not open on Sundays.
Tuesday to Saturday, guys.
Tuesday to Saturday.
Gin distillery.
But apparently it is really good gin. I haven't tried it, but
I want it.
it's apparently really good gin. So yeah, Tuesdays to Saturdays, go check it out if you happen to be in Bathurst. Sorry, we can't do it. But yeah, so we'll go do that, and after that we'll head over to Oberon.
See if we can find some mushrooms.
Yep. So the Gem Museum was super cool. It was a $14 entry for adults, and being a Sunday on a public holiday weekend, lots of small children everywhere, which was okay because they went through very, very quickly and kind of just got out of the way, so you just had to be a little bit patient. But yeah, it was pretty cool. So many gemstones. I want to start my rock collection again.
It was
so pretty.
And it was really well presented.
Yeah,
like,
really well informative. I've got a few shots of it, so hopefully there's some good footage there that I can put in the video. But yeah, now we went to Oberon, and then we've driven through to Black Springs, which is pine forest, like the Vulcan State Forest.
Yep.
And it turns out you can go fossicking for
Gems.
gems, which we probably won't do because you do need a permit for that. But
we are also out here looking for mushrooms. So when we went through Oberon, we stopped and visited the information centre, and the lady there said, been pretty frosty, so probably won't find very much. So we've come out to the forest to just have a nice walk anyway. So we got out the car and just wanted to quickly show you, got out the car. That, my friend, is a giant Amanita fly agaric mushroom. So, so much for not finding anything. Okay, so what we've spotted here is another pretty common mushroom. I reckon this is a slippery jack. So you can see how super gross and slimy the skin is. Just like disgusting. But when you tip him up, bright yellow pores. Now, so what's really interesting is the slippery jacks are what's called a bowl eat. And one of the biggest, easiest ways to tell what they are is they've got pores instead of gills. So if I chop him in half, you can see that those pores are actually kind of just like modified gills. They're really just there to, well, all those gills and pores are just there to distribute spores from a mature mushroom. Now what's interesting about this one, they are actually edible. So these slippery jacks are genus Swillus. It's either a Swillus luteus or a Swillus granulatus, and I think the luteus have this remnants of that veil that they have when they're growing, but the granulatus won't. The granulatus will lose these pretty quick. If you want to eat them, you got to get rid of this disgusting slimy cat first. But remember, if you cannot immediately tell what it is, and if you don't know what the other mushrooms in your area are, so you may not know whether or not there's any similar mushrooms in your area that are actually not okay to eat. Here in Australia, pretty unlikely. This bright yellow pores and the slippery top is pretty indicative. But we only have a limited range of introduced species, so yeah, Swillus, slippery jack. Okay, so this one is obviously the very famous fly agaric Amanita, what is it, Amanita muscarius? It's the quintessential toadstool. Obviously not going to do you so well if you eat it, very likely. But so pretty. They're just so beautiful. And there's quite a few variations on a theme. You can get some that are deep red the whole way through. This one's a bit older, so it's starting to lose its red and go a bit towards the orange and yellow. Ah, he's so pretty though. So interestingly, a lot of those quintessential mushrooms you'll find in Australia in pine forests, because what they are, they're mycorrhizal. So essentially their roots grow alongside the roots of other trees. So all of these fly agarics, those saffron milk mushrooms, or what are they? Saffron pine, something, Lactarius species. A few others, a lot of boletes, they'll just grow with the pines in the pine forest. So that's why you can often find a lot of those edible ones all in the forest around. We're here in the pine forest near Oberon. Well, we've gone for our big long walk looking for some mushrooms. Unfortunately, we couldn't find any saffron milk caps, or also called pine mushrooms. We're a bit late in the season. All the ones we saw were a bit mouldy, rotten.
There was lots of slippery jacks around the place. We passed a couple of people who were collecting boxes and boxes and boxes.
Boxes!
They had an entire back of the van filled with boxes of these mushrooms.
They got me eating them for a while.
But those ones look particularly gross. They are edible, but ugh.
Ugh. Just looking at them, they just look slimy and gross.
Yeah.
So I'd like to kind of end on a bit of a please note. So please never eat a mushroom unless you know exactly what it is and what the mushrooms that look like it are. Just about every edible mushroom out there has got at least one kind of mushroom that'll make you sick that looks pretty much like the same thing unless you really know what you're looking for.
Don't die.
Don't die. And please just don't eat mushrooms off the side of the road. They kind of collect oil and diesel and stuff that washes off the roads. Just like, don't eat blackberries off the side of the road because, you know,
You
all
get
the
all
same
the
problems.
pollutions and stuff. So yeah, just we do
Get
not
a few
condone you
meters
going
in.
out and eating mushrooms based on this vlog.
Please. Nobody dying, please.
Okay guys, so we're going to end the vlog here. We are going to head back to Sydney now because our trip is sadly over, which is a shame, but we only had this amount of time for it. But we hope you enjoyed watching what we got up to and maybe learnt something a little bit about mushrooms and about how cold it gets out here in the middle of winter, or at the start of winter. Yeah, anyway guys, thanks for watching and we'll catch you in the next one.